Good morning, primary class. This is Miss Daniela with your Sunday lesson, just a little bit late. In our story, Noah builds an ark. Even though Adam and Eve had many, many children, the Bible tells us the names of just three: Cain, Abel, and Seth. In our lesson last week, we learned about a very sad choice that Cain made. He was the very first son of Adam and Eve, and he made sad choices because Cain and his family didn't think that they needed God. They chose to follow Satan. We read in Genesis 4, verse 16, "And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelled in the land of Nod on the east of Eden." After Abel died, Seth was born. Seth looked more like Adam than any of his other children. You can imagine how happy Adam and Eve were that Seth and his children had chosen to love and obey God. They hoped that perhaps Seth would be the special person who would save our world from Satan. What did Eve say about him in verse 25? Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son and called his name Seth. "For God," she said, "hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew." As Seth and his children grew up, they tried to be good missionaries to the people who were choosing to believe Satan's lies, but hardly anyone listened to them. Most of the people were becoming more and more wicked. Many years had passed since God had made our world. How old was Adam when Seth was born? We find out in Genesis 5, verse 3 to 5. "And Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died." Wow, 130 years old when he had Seth. Do you know anyone who is even 130 years or even 100 years old? I only know of a couple of people who are close to that, and I have met people who are over 100, but none of them were ready to start having children. Adam was more than 9 times 100, wasn't he, when he died? Wow. When God made Adam and Eve, their bodies were so perfect and healthy that they would have lived forever if they had not sinned. For a long, long time, their children and grandchildren also lived for hundreds and hundreds of years before they died. If we choose to love, trust, and obey God when he comes back soon, we will live forever with him. Never forget that we make choices every single day. We can be like Abel or Seth, or we can choose to have our own way like Cain. What choices are you making every day?